Where he leads me, I shall follow. Where he leads me, I shall follow. Where he leads me, I shall follow. I'll go with him.
Grandma, please, you'll wake the dead.
I called you a half hour ago. Your dress?
I can't find my pants.
I pressed them. They're out here.
I just got those trousers out of the cleaners, and they didn't need pressing. I bet you scorched them.
You should wear a robe around here, the house, boy. You never know when I'm having company.
I'm sorry, man. Morning, Miss Katie.
One.
Morning, Eugene. He ran out of here like a skint cat, like I ain't never seen a man in drawers before.
There. I'll put this bread here in the oven, and it'll be ready in no time. I appreciate you taking this down to sheriff for me. He'd bust a gut if he didn't have my cornbread for breakfast. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free.
You can't say that.
Say it again.
I'm only doing it because I don't want to see a woman your age out on the streets today.
You gotta get up, kids. You
His
can't sit on your ass.
eyes
You gotta get up.
on the sparrow, and I know he watches me.
Just the same, I'm glad you decided to take off. White folks have been coming into town since sun up by the truckload. Mean white folks, wore out from blood. Who's out for blood?
Oh, they just scared as you, Miss Kathy Jones.
Ain't no sin to be scared. Aren't you scared for Eugene?
Scared of what?
That lunch counter has been white folks for as long as I can remember, and the folks around here aim to keep it that way.
Let them aim all they want to. The thing that tease me is they won't let me march.
Miss Love, your heart couldn't take it.
You'll be amazed at what my heart's done took all these years, baby.
Where's my sports shirt? The green one.
In the drawer where it belongs. I'm ironing the white one right here.
Iron a white shirt? I'm not going to a formal dance.
I want you to be neat. When you sit down at that counter, newspaper men from all over the country, they'll be here. And if they want to put your picture in the papers, I want the folks to say, my, ain't that a nice looking, neat young man?
You asked your boss how long he'll let me stay neat?
I ain't asked Sheriff Morrison nothing.
He let you off today so you can nurse my wounds when I get back, huh?
You ain't gonna have no wounds, son. And you ain't gonna get this nice white shirt dirty either. What's wrong with you? Anyway, you trying? What y'all say? Chicken out?
No, I'm not going to chicken out, but I am nervous.
I'm nervous too. For myself and for all y'all young folks. Like the mayor said on TV last night, the whites and the colors always got on well here.
So long as we stay in our respective places.
He said if we want to eat in the drugstore, we ought to build our own.
Then why don't you build a drugstore on Main Street with a lunch counter in it?
Where am I going to get the money?
Where is any colored person in this town gonna get the money? Even if we got it, you think they'll let us lease a building, let alone have a property on Main Street?
I know, Miss Love, but
nothing. If I was a woman, young, I'd be joining them children.
I'm with y'all, Eugene, in mind and not in body, if not in body.
Mm-hmm.
But I have children to raise, and I have to think about my job.
Why don't you think about your children? Them few pennies ain't shit. And if things stay the same, it'll be the same way for the children too. But Lord knows, if they're like the rest of the young folks today, they're gonna be down real soon.
I provided for my children by myself, and they love me for it. We have food on our table each and every day.
Beans and greens? When the last time you had steaks?
Well, at least we aren't starving.
Neither is your boss lady.
Miss Comfort said y'all are communists.
I'll be damned. How come every time a black person speaks up for themselves, they got to be a communist?
That's what the white folks think.
Well, ain't that something? Here, I am, old black me, trying to get this democracy to working like it ought to be working. And the Democratic white folks say wait. Now tell me, why in the hell would I want to join another bunch of white folks that I don't know nothing about and expect them to put me straight? Here's your shirt, son. Wear a tie and comb your natural. Put a part in your hair.
Good gracious.
Militants. That's what Miss Comfort calls us, militants.
What does that mean?
Bad. That's what it means, bad folks.
I hope you love your children as much as you seem to love Miss Comfort.
I hate that white woman.
Why?
I hate all white folks, don't you?
Kathy Jones, I don't hate nobody. I get disgusted with them, but I don't hate them.
Well, you're different from me.
Just look at my cornbread.
It smells good.
Don't you dare pitch off it either.
I don't want that white man's food. I hope it chokes the heck out of him, that mean bastard.
I see how come your boss lady calling you militant, Kathy.
Well, I don't like him. Patting me on my behind like I'm a dog. He got that bad habit.
You make haste with this bread. He likes it hot.
Yes, I ain't gonna be caught dead in the midst of this rucket.
You ought to hurry along now.
Okay. What's up?
And don't you dare pinch off of it. You'll turn to stone. You about ready, son?
I guess so.
Come on out here and let me look at you.
Since when do I have to stand in inspection?
Since now. You look right smart, and I want you to stay that way.
How? You know Sheriff ain't gonna stop at nothing to keep us out that drugstore.
Stop worrying about Chef Morris.
He's the one who's raising all the heck. The man was all set to integrate until the sheriff got wind of it.
Yes, I know, but don't worry about him. Try to relax.
How can I relax?
I thought most of you young cats had nerve today.
And I wish you'd stop embarrassing me, using all that slang.
I'm trying to talk your talk, baby. Say it again.
There's something wrong with a woman 80 years old trying to act like a teenager.
What was it when you were telling me the other day about that gap? How young folks and old folks can't talk together?
The generation gap.
Well, I done bridged it, baby. You did.
You are ludicrous.
Well, that's one up on me, but I'll cop it sooner or later.
I know you'll try.
Damn right.
That's another thing. All this swearing you've been doing lately.
Picked it up from you and your friends. Sitting right here in my living room under the picture of Jesus. Don't explain. Now you know how it sounds to me.
Why'd you have to bring this up at a time like this?
You brought it up, baby.
I wish you wouldn't call me baby. I'm a grown man.
Ain't I heard you grown men calling each other baby?
Well, that's different. And stop using ain't so much. You know better.
I wish I was educated like you, Eugene, but I aren't.
Good gracious.
Let me fix your tie.
My tie's all right.
It's crooked.
Just like that phony sheriff that that you get up at 6 in the morning to cook cornbread for.
The sheriff mean well, son. In his fashion.
That B is a one-dimensional all black.
Don't let me hear you call him black.
What would he do? Beat me with a billy club like he does the rest of us around here?
You have to try to understand folks like Mr. Morrison.
Turn the other cheek, huh?
That's what the Bible says.
That's what the Bible says.
I sure do wish I could go with y'all.
To eyewitness the slaughter.
You folks ain't the only militant ones you know.
You work for the meanest patty in town. And to hear you tell it, he adores the ground you walk on. Now you're a big militant.
I try to get along with folks, son.
You don't have to work for such trash like Sheriff Morrison. You don't have to work at all. You own this house. Daddy says you checks what you tear up. You can get a pension if you weren't so stubborn. You don't have to work at your age. And surely don't have to embarrass the family by working for trash.
What am I supposed to do? Sit here and rock like an old apple? The minute a woman's hair turns gray, folks want her to take her to a rocking chair and sit it out. Not this chick. Baby, I'm keeping active. I've got a long way to go and much more to do before I meet my maker.
Listen to you.
I want to be a part of this rights thing, but no, y'all say I'm too old.
That's right, you are. Your generation and my generation are completely contrast. We don't think alike at all. The grand shuffle school is dead.
That's for calling me a Tom.
I didn't call you a Tom. But I haven't seen you grinning and blowing bound to white folks, and it make me sick in my stomach.
And it put your daddy through college so he could raise you with comfort like he raised you. Northern comfort, which you wasn't satisfied with. No, you had to come down here and free us soul brothers from the bondage as if we can't do it ourselves. Now don't try to tell me your world's perfect up there. I've been there and I've seen. Sick to your stomach? No, I'm sick to my stomach. Whenever I pick up a paper and turn on the news to see young folks being washed down with hoses and beaten by dogs, or bitten by dogs, even killed, I get sick to my stomach. When I realize how hungry some folks are and how disrespectful the world's gotten, I get sick to my stomach, baby, because the world more messed up now than it ever was. You looking at me like that because you shocked me. You know why? Your little secure ass down here to make history in our own way, and you are scared shitless. I had dreams when I was your age too.
Times are different then. I know that.
Maybe so, but in our hearts, we known what was right and what was wrong. We known what this country was supposed to do, to be, and we known what we was a part of it. For better or for worse, like a marriage. We prayed for better tomorrow, and that's why that picture of Jesus got dust on it in my front room right now. Because the harder we prayed, the worse it got.
Things are better now. You always say.
Let's hope they don't get no worse.
Thanks to us.
If you don't take that chip off your shoulder, I'm gonna blister your behind, boy. Sit down and eat your breakfast.
I'm not hungry.
Drink some juice, then.
I don't want anything.
Look at you. A nervous wreck at 21. Just because you gotta go sit at a lunch, just because you gotta go walk through a bunch of poor white trash and sit at a lunch counter in a musty old drugstore.
I may be a little tense, It's only natural. You'll be too.
I do my bit, baby, and it don't affect me in the least. I've seen the blazing cross in the hooded faces in my day. I've smelled the black flesh burning with tar and the neck stretched like taffy.
Seeing those things was your contribution, I guess.
You surprised at my contribution?
Nothing that you would do surprised me at all. You're a hard-headed old woman.
And I'm justified. Justified in whatever I do. Life ain't been pretty, son. For me, son. Oh, I suppose I had some happiness. Like when I married your granddaddy. Or when I gave birth to your daddy. But I watched him grow up and I got meaner and meaner.
You may be evil, but you're not mean.
I worked to feed and clothe him like Kathy doing for her children. But I had a goal in mind. Kathy's just doing it to eat. I wanted something better for my son. They used to call me nigger one minute, and I swear they loved me the next. I grinned and I bore it like you said. Sometimes I even had to stretch my head and bow. But I got your daddy through college.
I know, and I'm grateful. He's grateful. Why don't you go and live with him like he wants you?
Because I'm stubborn and independent. I want to see me some more colored men around here with pride and dignity.
So that Sheriff Morrison can pound the heck out of every Saturday night with his billy club?
I've always worked for folks like that. I worked for White Doctor once who refused to treat your granddaddy. Let him die because he hated black people. I worked for him and his family, and they grew to love me like one of the family.
You are a true Christian lady.
I reckon I turned the other cheek some, grinned and bowed. You call it. Held them white folks' hand when they was sick. Nursed their babies. And I sat back and watched them all die out year by year. Old Dr. Fulton was the last one to go. He had worked around death all his life, and death frightened him. He asked me, black me, to sit with him during his last hours.
Of course you did.
Indeed. And loved every minute of it. Remind me sometimes to tell you about it. It's getting late. I don't want you to be tardy.
I bet you hope they put me under the jail so that you can tom up to your boss and say, I tried to tell him, but you know how.
I don't want to hit you again, boy.
I'm sorry.
I've got my ace in the hole, and I ain't nervous about it either. You doing all that huffing and puffing? The white folks are out to blow you down with that hard stare. Now scoot! Us loves is known for our promptness.
If I die, remember, I'm down for Negroes like Miss Catherine.
You must have got that inferior blood from your mama's side of the family. You ain't gonna die, boy. You're coming back here to me just as pretty as you left.
Have you and the sheriff reached a compromise?
Just you go on.
I'll be back home, Grandma.
I know it, honey. Son.
Ma'am?
The Bible says, love, and I does. I turns the other cheek, and I loves till I can't love no more. Well, I reckon I ain't perfect, and I ain't like Jesus was. I could only bear a cross so long. I guess I've had it, as if you young folks say, done been spit on, insulted, but I grinned and bore my cross for a while. Then there was peace, satisfaction, sweet satisfaction. Son, you've been a comfort to me. When you get to be my age, you want someone to talk to you who loves you. And I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Granny, I know. I'm sorry I said those things. I understand how you feel, and I understand why you.
Don't try to understand me, son, because you don't understand yourself yet. Go on out there and get yourself some dignity. Be a man. Then we can talk.
I'll be darned, old lady.
Not it!
I'll be darned.
Dear Eugene, your son has made me right proud today. You ought to have seen him leaving here to sit in at that drugstore with them other fine young colored children. Lord, letter writing can sure tire the body out.
Miss Love, Miss Love.
Kathy? What's wrong with you? Child? They aren't riding, are they? Then what's the matter? You give the chef the bread?
I poked my head through the door, and he says, "What you want, gal?" I told him I brought his breakfast. He says, "All right, bring it here." His eyes lit up when he looked at your cornbread.
Didn't they?
He told me to go get him a quart of buttermilk out the icebox. Then he started eating the bread, and he yelled at me, "Hurry up, gal, before I finish."
Then what happened?
I got his milk, and when I got back, he was half standing and half sitting at his desk, holding his stomach of his end and cussing to his high level. "Give me the goddamn milk. I can't see those ulcers. Can't you see those ulcers killing the heck out of me?"
He ain't got no ulcers.
He had something all right. His old blue eyes was just darting about, and what looked to be a little pools of blood. His face was red as beets.
Go on, child.
He was painting and breathing hard. He drank all the milk in one long gulp. Then he belched and told me to get my black butt out of his face. He said to tell all the Negroes that today is to be of all days.
Indeed.
And he flung that plate at me. I ran across the street. The street was full of white folks with sticks and rocks and things, old white folks and young and even children. My white folks was even there.
What were they doing?
Just standing around. That's all. That wasn't saying nothing, just standing and watching. They looked down the street towards the drugstore, then turned to look towards the sheriff's office. Then the old Sheriff Marson came out. He was sort of bent over in the middle, belched, and his stomach growling. I could hear it clear across the street.
Oh, I've seen it before, child. I've seen it. First, Dr. Fulton, a medical man who didn't know his liver from his kidney. He sat and watched his entire family die out, one by one. Then let himself die because he was dumb. Called me to his deathbed and asked me to come hold his hand. I ain't got nobody else to turn to now, Auntie. I asked him, "You related to me in some way?" He laughed, and the pain hit him like an axe. Save me of spiritual, he told me. I told him I didn't know no spiritual. Save me something holy for me. I'm dying, he says. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal, you. I'll be glad when you're dead, you rascal, you. Then I told him, how come he was dying?
He was a doctor, didn't he know?
Shoot, Dr. Fulton, how come you didn't treat my husband? How come you let him die out there in the alley like an animal? When I got through opening his nose with what was happening, he raised up like a red like the sheriff with his hands stretched towards me, and he fell right square off the bed onto the floor, dead. I spat on his body, went downstairs, cooked me a steak, and got my belongings and left.
You didn't call the Undertaker?
I left that bastard for the maggots. I wasn't his auntie. The neighbors found him about a week later, stinking to hell. Oh, they came to question me. I was grieved, child, and they left me alone. You know how Negroes is scared of death, they said. And now the sheriff, I have great peace of mind, child, because I'm like my grandson in my own fashion. I'm too old to be hit and wet up, they say, but I votes and I does my bit.
I reckon I'll get on. You think you ought to stay here by yourself?
I'll be all right. You run along. Now, go tend to your children before they get away from you.
Ma'am?
Them kids got eyes, Kathy, and they know what's happening. And they ain't gonna be liking their mama's attitude that much longer. You're a young woman, Kathy. There ain't no sense in you continuing to be a fool for the rest of your life.
I don't know what you're talking about, Miss Love.
You'll find out one day. Just, I hope it's not too late. I
Yes.
thank you for that favor.
Yes, sir.
Grandma. They served us. And then the soul do a thing. We've integrated.
Tell me about it.
When I got there, every white person in the country was on that street. They had clubs, iron pipes. There were dogs and fire trucks with hoses. When we reached the drugstore, old man Thomas was standing in the doorway. "What y'all want?" he asked. "Service," someone said. That's when the crowd started yelling and making nasty remarks. None of us moved an inch. Then the sheriff came down the street from his office. He walked slowly like he was sick.
Didn't he cuss? No.
He swore up and down. He walked up to me and said, "Boy, what you and them other niggers want here?" "Freedom, baby," I told him. "Freedom, he said, y'all get on back where y'all belong and start acting up before I sick the dogs on you. We're not leaving until we get served," I told him. He looked at me with complete amazement.
Then he belched and started to foam at the mouth.
He was mad, Grandma. He said he'd die before a nigger sat on the white woman's what had been. "God is my witness," he shouted. "May I die before I see this place integrated." Then he took out his whistle.
Put it to his lips, and before he could get up, the breath to blow, he fell to the ground.
He rolled himself into a tight ball holding his stomach, cussing and moaning and thrashing around.
And the foaming out of his mouth got worse. He puked, a bloody puke, and his eyes looked like they popped right out of the sockets. He opened his mouth and gasped for breath.
In the excitement, some of the kids went inside the drugstore, and the girl at the counter said, "Y'all can have anything you want. Just don't put a curse on me." While black faces were filling the counter, someone outside yelled,
Chef Morrison is dead.
How do you know so much? You weren't there."
No, son, I wasn't there, but I've seen it before. I've seen
"What?"
Death in the Raw. Dr. Crawford's entire family went that way.
"Grandma?"
Some of them had it easier and quicker than the rest, depending.
Depending on what?
how they had loved and treated their neighbor, namely me.
What's in the bag you're fumbling with?
Spice.
You're lying to me. What is it?
The spice of life, baby.
Did you do something to Sheriff Morrison?
In the sweet by and by, we shall meet.
What did you do to Sheriff Morrison?
I help y'all integrate, babe, in my own fashion.
What did you do to that man?
I gave him peace, sent him to meet his maker. And I sent him in grand style too. Tore his very guts out with special seasoning. Degrading me, calling me nigger, beating my men folks.
Why?
Because I'm tired of old black women being seen tired and who ain't got no peace and never had no peace in this country. You talk about a new Negro? Hell, I was a new Negro 76 years ago. Don't you think I want to sip me a Coca-Cola in the store when I went out shopping? Don't you think I wanted to have a decent job that would have given me some respect and enough money to feed my family and clothe them decently? I resented being called girl and auntie by folks who aren't even as good as me. I've worked for Negroes haters, made them love me, and I put my boy through school, and then I sent them to eternity with flying colors. I've got no regrets, boy, just peace of mind and satisfaction, and I don't need no psychiatrist. I done vented my pent up emotions. Ain't that what you always saying?
You could be sent to the electric chair.
Who? Aunt Grace Love? Good. Old black auntie? Shoot. I know white folks, son. And I've been at this business for a long time now. And they know I know my place.
Oh, Grandma.
Cheer up. I done what I did for y'all. But if you don't appreciate it, ask some of the colored boys who ain't been to college and who felt old man Morrison's stick against their heads. They'll appreciate it. Literation. Like the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman. That's me. Only difference is I ain't going down in history. Now you take off them clothes before you get them wrinkled.
Where are you going?
To shed a tear for the deceased and get me a train ticket.
You're going home to Daddy?
Your daddy don't need me no more, son. He's got your mama. No, I ain't going to your daddy.
Then where are you going?
Ain't you said them college students sitting in Mississippi and they ain't making no headway because of the governor? Well, I think I'll take me a little trip to Mississippi and see what's happening. You wasn't by chance know the governor's name, would you?
What?
I have a feeling that he might be needing a good cook.
Grandma.
Gotta take her
Get out them clothes, boy. And while I'm gone, I think I'll go downtown and get me some ice cream from Mr. Thomas. Lord, ain't much left. But I think he'll do. Who will be next? You, or you?
Are you?
Where he